So, just so you guys know, we're going to be doing plastic fusing and also fusing with photos. So if you guys brought photos, we can use those as well in the process. But we're going over how to layer the plastic bags because we're all into recycling, and we want to try and make some art out of recycled materials. So basically, the bottom line is for the plastic, you want to start with 6 layers of plastic is kind of a recommended thing. But, you know, we're artists, so we can take some liberties with that. But the main thing is if you want a nice, neat, clean piece of material to work with, you want to cut your bags so that there are no ends, no handles, so they're perfectly flat and hopefully the same size. And once you have your layers, you want 6 layers, so it's 3 bags basically. We're going to take it outside because there are fumes that are released that are toxic. So
you can't really smell them, so we're not quite sure there's fumes that are released, but we've been told.
Yeah. And you know, plastic's not good in the microwave and all that. We did bring masks, so if people are really sensitive, even though you can't smell it, maybe you might get a headache.
And we will do all that outside, so it's,
Yeah. So you're going to layer your plastic bags between layers of, oh, I didn't bring it in here, but parchment paper, which you can put in the oven. So you put your parchment paper down, you put your 6 layers of your plastic, then another layer of the parchment paper, and then you're just going to move your iron basically on a high setting back and forth over the piece until you can kind of see it through the parchment paper when it starts to melt. So you'll do it for about 10 or 20 seconds or 30 seconds, and then you'll want to flip it over, do it on the other side, and you can peek to make sure that it's, you know, well fused together. So that's for the nice, neat, clean look. If you're not so, and that's really nice if you're going to make a wallet or something pretty delicate, like this little art doll I made. I wanted her to be nice and flat. If you're going for more of an artsy piece, like Nadine made this really cool bird that you could applique on a bag or, you know, just put it on a background and frame it. She actually added some netting on top, which gave it kind of more texture and broke up pieces of plastic, right? And so that it's not a solid piece. So you can try both if you want, you know, make a piece that's more flat and then make a piece that's kind of like this one here is.
Yeah, this one has got elements of bag instead of just one. You can see on the back there's a solid bag on the starting it, but then as the layers were created, there's a red bag over here and maybe a little bit of a blue bag here. And so what happens also is it starts to perforate, which I like that look, but if you don't want it to, then you're just going to keep going with the same size bags and then make sure that there's not things underneath it. Text also makes it perforate because it's a different material. Which that would be the next step. So the basic element is melting the plastic bags, but on top of that, you can use some artistic embellishments to make it look really cool.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, so what it does is painting. So all these have been painted. And with painting, you know, you can do a whole splash dash look. This is kind of just flicking the paint on there. Mary did this one, and, you know, most of you have probably painted. If not, we can just show you some paintbrush techniques to kind of get a really cool look happening with the plastic. Or you can just kind of watercolor paint, and if you're going to cut it out to make something else, like this is what I did with the bird, and I was just moving quickly, you can just kind of splash some colors on, and it's sort of like a surprise what you found. There's also, you know, you can get designy and add some things like this, and it's really great to just be really experimentative at this point, unless you're worried about having the whole piece be usable, because you're probably not going to, even with these wallets, these are pieces of a very large part, so you find the part that really appeals to you, and you can cut it out. So you don't really have to get stuck on, oh, I'm painting this part and it really doesn't work for me, because it's going to be cut out in a way that you like it. And then you can also keep adding to it. So I could have stopped at one point painting and put more plastic on top to add more elements if I decided, oh, I want some more text, or I want to put some ribbon underneath here. As long as there's a layer of plastic on top of it, and usually at this point Mary and I use clear because we want things to start showing through, you can keep adding. And one quick way to add on top of paint is you just kind of wipe it down so it's not really heavy, and then you can just put the clear plastic on top of it and iron it. And it does bubble up a little bit, so you have to wait for that element. Or if you don't want it to bubble at all, you just let it dry.
And we have blow dryers here, there, and out there if you want to dry your paint and then put the clear plastic on top. I have done some where I didn't put the clear plastic on top, and that's just, you feel the paint more. So if you're going to make a wallet, you kind of want to seal it with that clear plastic on top. But if you're making a wall hanging or an art doll or something like that, you don't need to seal it, And this is another sample of a little flower. So
here we should just show them some of the, you can make any of the patterns that we have here you can use. You can also just go in your own direction. So if you want to do something functional, there's two types of wallets here. One that has sort of something inside to make it stiff. I also pass these around you guys. I don't think you guys look. And then there's one that is just plastic. And then there's an art doll, which any of these are open to sort of inspire you. And if any of you guys want to make a headband, that's here. Or you can just experiment with the technique and then decide what you want to do with it later. We're going to do the plastic first, and then we're going to come in and show you how to fuse, which is using photographs. And for those of you who have brought photographs or even text, we have a copier. So we'll copy those onto fabric paper, and we'll show you how to incorporate the photos as an art piece themselves, which we have fabric. If you don't want to work with the plastic, maybe you just want to experiment a little bit, but you want to do something more fabric-y. We'll show you that element, or you can also bring the two together, and there is a way to fuse photographs into your plastic piece if you want to create kind of a hanging art piece with fusing. But maybe we'll just walk through it really quick outside, and we'll let you come in, choose your plastic, and get started.